Something's wrong. Just a minute. Panic, panic, panic. Just a moment. Okay, for real. No scuff. No scuff. Let me make sure. Okay. Okay. I was running late. But we're here now. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast. I do see that Tass joined us early. Yes, we are doing coding today. We're continuing our, newbie game dev. Continuing our Nyanite Survivors game. Between the streams, I got the movement actually working. Had to move some stuff around. Haha. But now the character can move around. I do have it so that collision is possible. Walls are not going to be the thing today. We might get to, mobile object collision today as well. We're going to start with some map generation. But before we do, let's check in with the kitties. We do have Ember. We have Sammy, and it looks like Mason there. Sky is on my lap. Sky is very cuddly today. And I see Squishy has joined us. Hello, Squishy. We're just getting started. And Sky has been very cuddly today. We'll see what's going on. He does have his food, so it's not and it's like on my lap, pet me, cuddly. So it's not like the destructive of what I actually want is for you to do a thing, not pay attention to me directly. Let's see. Sherbet is in the secondary cat tree. He has resumed snoozing in there. I think it's because the seasons are coming along enough that there is generally more to look at out the window, so he hangs out there. But yes, how is everyone doing today? I hope things are going well. It's been a bit panicked getting started. Just a bit. Okie dokie. Let's zoom into stream size here just a moment. Now, do remember we are running two separate stream aspect ratios. We have widescreen on YouTube and Twitch, and on YouTube as well, we do have all aspect ratio. So if you're looking at it in a ratio you don't want to, you do have the option of popping over to see a different one. That is, if you'd like widescreen and you're on tall format, then you do have alternatives. But yes, let me show off the minimal progress, but progress nonetheless. Look, it can move. The colored tiles are purely for me determining what can be visible on the screen. If it stands right here, it is dead. It just about dead center to the right there. Like right between its feet is where it's standing, which technically should make its collision box not include its head, but whatever. But you can see the edges of the screen encompass a little bit of the tiles at the top and almost half of the tiles on the side. So I'm the reason that they're colored differently is I'm going to call these tiles on the edge join tiles. These are tiles that are shared between adjacent blocks, adjacent screens worth of space. And the red tiles denote the internal space, the space that is determined entirely by the block. What this will let us do is we can have this space defined fully. Like, the tile itself determines that. You could even say, like, the edges of the tile could be knowledgeable about the exterior. But mostly I want that to be in the edge tiles. So, for example, you could have this be independent islands if you were doing something like, I think it was like Forager, where you would unlock, you would pay to unlock adjacent islands. So this could be water space, essentially. Or if it was, forest to beach, you would have this period in between to maybe do some grass to sparse grass. To get that transition going, for the time being, it's probably just going to be overlap. So the overall map will know this is overlap territory. So it doesn't need to re-render it. I do long-term want to have it where map stuff is unloaded if that is necessary for performance. So for the time being, it's just going to need to work on the mouth tracking. Again, just that down. Maybe that'll help a little bit. Oof. I see somebody with what I believe might be Russian or Eastern European text there. I unfortunately cannot pronounce the name or understand the text, but I can try to get a slice of that. And get a gist of what one of the sentences is. Hello, and I agree, it is a nice cat. That cat is named Ember. She's the cat most commonly on camera. Pretty much her default position is right there. It's within a couple of feet of me. So if she wants attention, she can just trot over. Otherwise, it's kind of her spot. Sky will muscle in to snuggle with her. But otherwise, that's kind of her place. A few of them do have their spot, like, let's see here if it will become visible. So the little gray pillow there, the squishable, I believe they are called. Could be something else. Anyhow, that Sammy prefers that spot for her napping spot. Otherwise, she will be very effectively avoiding all camera visibility. Mason is not uncommonly there, though that's kind of a shared space, the tan blanket. He is more commonly on the tree there. Still have to get around to updating my my camera switch macros. But you can just barely see him, but he's in the little hutch there. The little box. That is Sherbet, Mason's brother. But yeah, it is another dev day. So let's switch on over here. So what we're trying to do is we're on the game screen right now. And we want to fill in world tiles. So over here during process, we're saying like, okay, where are we? So what we'll do to make this easier is we're going to remove these red tiles. So we've got the red tiles removed so we can see what we're doing. We'll use the red tiles to paint in. So now we go into our script, and where we're filling in the tile, well, first we've got to get our actual tile. So if we get our tile from here, I'm trying to offset it properly, because what we do when we are laying out the world tiles, we have gone into the floor tiles here. We've shifted it left and up by 48 units. So you can see the tile is centered here. That puts 0, 0 of the world in the center of the 0 tile. This is the 0, 0 tile. Tiles are 96 across because we're using 16 by 16 sprites, and we've scaled them up to 6x size. Could potentially use a different size. Don't have a calculator handy. Mathing might work better. Thinking. Yeah. No, but the math is wrong. Is it? 5x may ultimately be better. I'll have to think about that. It would require a lot of shuffling of math. I'll have to put some constants in places to mess with them. This will be a hassle. But anyhow, we're moving at that distance because we have scaled up the tiles. So we have to scale up any interactions with the tiles as far as world space is concerned. Okay, so we're trying to get our tile. I think we might have to do this after. So if we plus 48 it, we're centering back to world being 0, 0 is the upper left corner of the 0, 0 tile. So I think that might not be what we want to do. So we're trying to figure out which tile we're on. And if we round it down from 96, we should get... Should work. Should work. Still printing. Okay, so we're sitting here. This should be the 0, 0 tile. There's some default code that prints the 0, 0 tile. So we're sitting at tile -1 here. This is not tile -1. Tile -1 should be here. So we're off by 1 tile. Why are we off by 1 tile? Okay, let's try to put that 48 back in. And if we look at it now, okay, we're at 0, 0. We move to the left side. Here. This one. 1. Maybe I just didn't test this properly last night. 0, -1. +1. Be 1, 1. -1. Okay. For those wondering, common practice in game map worlds is positive is down and right, negative is up and left. So numbers fall when you go up and left, they rise when you go down and right. I've got a dark purple outline on the sprite just to distinguish it a little bit more. but I still have the idle animation and the walking animation. I do have a jumping animation and a firing animation set up, but I don't know how much those will be used. We'll see. It will be kind of like a coding stream of consciousness, but feel free to ask me any questions or anything like that, or if you just want to chat. I'm not so busy that we can't do that. Busy at all, it's streaming. Okay, so we know which tile we're on. So this is going to be the brute force method. We know which tile we're on. So we know this is the space around it we want to paint. Okay, we're going to do this messy first. We're going to go this 19 by 11. We're going to paint in with red. So we're going to do... Verify. Okay, so which layer of which tile set, which tile is... Okay, so this is which layer of tiles, or which layer of the tile map we're painting to. The square in the tile map that we're painting to. The layer of tiles that we're drawing from. We only have one right now. But you can have multiple, like, images that you're pulling them from. Then, within that set of tiles, which tile are we using? And then, are we using a variation of that tile? Like, are you color shifting it, kind of thing? So, we're going to use the first variation. 0 is the default. We're going to use the first variation. We're going to use layer 0, since we only have one of them. We have the coordinates passed in. We're going to use source 0. We only have one, so it's the 0th one. And then we're going to use 0, 0. Again, the only one we have, but we're going to use variation 1. That'll give us the red one. We go into the script. Don't do that. Don't do that. Quit pressing buttons. Bumped the camera. Okay, so layer 0. We're going to pass in. We don't need center tile yet. It's in coordinate. Tile layer. It's going to be 0, 0, and then it will be 1. So this should paint the tile that we're on red constantly. Isn't that neat? Now, what I also want to do is make it so that if that tile's already colored, that it doesn't do anything. That's not really a big problem. Yeah, ultimately, we'll ignore that. Let's ignore that for now. So if we go back and we... I'll have to set it up so start resets the world, but... we go back, 0, 0 is here. So the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to make it so it fills in the whole space. It's going to fill all of this with red. We'll probably make it so the 0 square is gray. It'll fill the rest with red. And then it will fill the exterior with gray. We'll be a bit crude with the logic here. Just to get started. So now we need to remember how we identify 0 squares, how we identify the center of a space. So we could make this easier on ourselves if we set the aperture of the screen to be a fixed value. Like I said, setting this to 5 may ultimately save us some pain. I'll have to verify what else is being done. We'll want to change the player sprite scale as well. You want consistent sprite size if you want everything to look right. Let's. I think that'll still. We'll still be facing an issue. So let's keep going. So looking at the screen right now, we know that there will be 5 squares up, down, and then it's, I believe, 9 squares to the right and left of red. So we know what this interior space is. And we know what the exterior space is, 1 more. So to get to the next square, to get to the next 0, if we were to go to the right, we would have 9 more here, then 10, then 9 more, then 1 more. So we're looking at 20 to the right, I believe. Thinking, math. Yes. So 20 squares to the right, and then it would be 5 and 6, 12 squares up. If I can figure out how to get the ratio of blocks to match the screen ratio so that it's clean, I will do that. But the trickiness of that is I still want world coordinates to drop in the center of tiles. I think that will save us some pain long term. So let's see. So now we have a world block conversion. And world block conversions are different. We don't have squares, we have rectangles. So starting at 0, 0, the next world block is, since it is 20 to the right, let me get a scratch pad here. Grabbing a pen too. I'm not going to do math in my head if I can avoid it. When I'm not writing notes down in digital format, I burn through paper very quick. And up, down, it was 12. So I think this might line up really nice. Will it? Let's clean a... It's not quite clean. So left and right, it's 1920. That's like perfect. Up and down though, it's 1152, which is not as good. And I think we can see that the edges are half. So those edge squares are right in the middle of a square. So that's a clean transition from middle to middle. Up and down though, it's like at the edge of a square. Not ideal. Ideally, we would see centers of squares. And I wonder if we get to a 5 ratio that we might be able to have squares all around the edge, and that we would do center of squares, the intersection of squares is the junction point. Not as clean for mapping the squares, that. But it'll do for now. It'll do for now. So we can then translate that into a square position. Round up. I think we can still round down like this, so let's see if this works. This does rely on us moving only at a particular pace. If we can move faster, if you can move more than a screen at a time, then we're going to have to render faster than this. So we're going to start with hitting our current tile. Center tile is our coordinate. Hey there, Sad Live. We're doing some game development. Rookie game development using the Godot engine. How are you today? We'll clean this up. This is going to be a huge line of code. Will that work? Feeling pretty good today. I'm still dealing with sleep issues, so it's kind of up and down in that regard. But I've got a decent amount of energy now that I'm awake. Been a bit rushed to get started, but we're moving. Okay, we're gonna paint that tile red. I'm sorry, gray. So it'll be the 0 alteration, and we're going to pass in center tile. Start, go. So it's painting, every time it's painting that. This is wasteful. But now the question is, when we cross this line, and it is not. It is not. There should be a gray tile over here. Okay. Do another print. Debug. Oh. No. That's why. Okay, this is translating us down to tiles when we divide by 20. Right? Yeah. No, that should still work. Because this is already translated to a tile. We're translating to tiles. We send that to here. We have position in the tiles. So if we divide those by 20, that should get us... We start here. That's working. It should constantly repaint that as a gray. And it says the center is 0, 0. Oh. This is where... Okay. Times 20. What we're doing is we are... Couldn't we just do this modulo? No, because we have negative numbers too. Right? Does modulo work on negative numbers? Because if it does, that would be better. Times 12 over a brace somehow. So when we cross the halfway point in this, we should see a gray square. And we don't. The center tile 0 now. That would make sense. No, because the halfway point is what matters. Okay. Math is getting more complicated. Okay, so it's offset backwards half a square, which means even the world is offset backwards half a square, up and left. So we're putting it back half of a world chunk by adding 10 and 6, I think. No errors. Center is still wrong. We've already got that, don't we? We've got tile. We've already got tile. All right. What are we passing in again? So we're passing in 14. Oh, wait. It just translated. May have just taken it a moment to catch up. Yeah. Look at that gray square. The codes of all time? Not sure what you mean. Okay, up isn't working. But hello, PSS. Let's go see back to the left here. I should probably speed the little guy up. Just for handling here for now. So move and slide. Okay. We'll make them twice as fast. I had a... Did I not perceive a meme? I think I must have not perceived a meme. I remember this number being a reason. Divide by 6. So we scaled it by 6. That's not right. Oh. It's in 60 frames. So it was 60. Then we wanted it to move 96 over. Yeah, there's some logic to this. There was some logic to the doing this. So we're just gonna set it to 10,000 for now. Okay, do negatives work? 3, 4, 5, 6. It does not. I mean, negatives work for painting the path, but we're still not getting a negative center. Oh, that's why. Okay. Here, I'll show you what I'll show you what I goofed. These are vector ints. Probably works still. Ints can go negative though, right? Yeah, but can... No, that's not the issue. It's not the issue. Why? But why? Tile that we're at is at -20. And we're at a -2 tile, so we're at the -1 tile. Well, that's part of the problem already. The up-down logic is failing. So this center is correct. I cross over here, though. This center is wrong. A -2, and we're in negative space. Positive space. Yep, yep, yep. When does it cross over into the next one? Tile 9. We're at 10. We're on the left side. Get on the right side. Yep, okay. Left and right is working. And we're in tile 1 right now. That's correct. We're in tile 0. We're in tile -1. -2. Okay. Just a typo? Well, now it's working there. So as soon as I cross halfway over that gray one... All right, let's look at our logic here. We right on this, though. How about down? How about down? Is down working in positive? Okay, okay. So then if we run over this way, we should run into another gray over this way. Yeah? Okay, positive space is working. Okay. Well, I can definitely render in negative space. I was doing it. We're rendering negative tiles right now. And we're rendering double negative tiles. So what's wrong with the math if it's in negative space? Oh. We have to offset. Oh, that shouldn't matter. All right, for science. No. Yeah, okay. No, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. This should be wrong. This shouldn't work. It's working. Why is that working? Okay, so we have the right general idea. All right, Sad. We'll be here for another couple hours. Okay, let's just take this off entirely. Okay, I crossed the halfway mark, and now it recognizes it. Does that work for... It works in negative space, too. Okay, it works better going into negative space. Maybe it only works better going up. Same logic, same problem. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, gray square. Okay, it's working going down. Left and right isn't right. But why is left and right not right? Going up isn't good. Going left has the same problem. But down gets it right. I want to hit a gray square and then I want to head right just to verify. Down again. Down is working suddenly. We don't know if that worked. All right. Down and right at the same time. Okay, that didn't work. Math is still wrong. Math is still wrong. Oh, but it's not exactly... Okay, we got to change our coordinate space. We've got to change our coordinate space entirely. The problem being, this isn't right. Because if we stand at center... Sorry. If we look at up and down, this is definitely wrong. Because it's not going to be exactly 12 squares. It's 5 and a little to get there. 5 and a little. And then a little bit more to get to the center of the next one. So we need to get coordinate space such that it fits in both. That it's half the screen, half the screen, half the screen, half the screen. I'm willing to sacrifice center of the tile. So. Doing some quick math. There is a universal variable. So my tiles are 16 by 16, and they're currently scaled to 6. But I'm thinking of scaling them down 1 to 5 to see if the math do better. Doesn't seem right. Doesn't seem right at all. Okay, 5 won't work. There are a couple of like pet dedicated products, PSS, that are for keeping an eye on pets. There are some that can do like voice and treat dispensing, and have cell phone apps. If it's actually easier to find home security camera systems that are app based. So Wise is a well-known one. Anything that's a baby monitor is usually like connected to the web via and then can be talked to via an app. My cat cams, I've actually searched very extensively to find ones that operate without any connection to a server. And then I doubled down and put them on a network that is not connected to the internet at all. Because I'm paranoid. But yeah. If you look for indoor security cameras, a vast majority of them that you will find are in 2 flavors. More expensive, like store security cameras, and much cheaper in-house app cloud-based cameras. And a cloud-based one could be used to do things like track pets. Okay, yeah. The problem is that 16 doesn't go cleanly into 1080. Which means multiples of it won't either. So like, 16s, 32s, doesn't matter. So left and right is fine if I can figure out the calculation for it. My math is just off on that. It's up and down are the problems. Actually, I can just declare that. This is not actually the problem. Barking up the wrong tree. I have declared the center of it to be like, it doesn't matter how the math actually works. My conversion of space into tiles is functional, and I've declared that the center is 6 up from this. Like so. So that is true. That is functional. And I want the next space to render before I can get to it. So use the example. The whole next square needs to be rendered by the time I'm here. Like, before this would be ideal. As soon as I'm in this square, I would like not only this square to already be rendered, this whole block, but I'd like the next one to be rendered so that unless I am moving crazy fast, and we have control over that, I can't get to this without seeing it. We don't want any pop-in our tile-based game. Oh. No, it is working. It's working fine. It's working fine. Because we don't want the current one. We want the adjacent ones. Like, this is the one we're in. It's calculating the one we're in. It's not quite right. Okay, it's not perfectly right. And that's because we want it to detect as soon as we cross this halfway point. But it's getting us the center. As soon as we hit the center, it's like, oh, you are definitely here. But we want to be able to determine the edges in this. So that's why things are wonky. It's left and right edges. So the calculation isn't right for that. If we have 0, it's only detecting it when we're on it. So we effectively need a plus or minus, because we need the minus to get us to the halfway point when we're here, when we're coming this way. We need the plus when we're going the other way. We could look at our current vector to determine whether we are using the plus or the minus. Because we have a normalized vector, but that's not quite right either. Seems needlessly fiddly. Well, let's do it for proof of concept. Aren't even using world coordinate. So we could do single line stuff. I object to single line if conditions as much as possible. It's messy. It's hard to read, so. going to be able to do this? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay, okay. I was misinterpreting something I was seeing. I thought it wasn't in the game script. But we don't have access to the player's velocity here. Or direction of movement. Export. Game has the player. Already we populate the player. Player dot what is it? Movement. Why is it not exposing that? Stop, save. It may have been because I was editing an object. Well, it only knows it as that kind of object, though. Should be able to declare this thing as a class. Like so. And then you go into player, you look at its script. This entity should be considered a player now. A player class. And then if I go up in here, player should exist. Yeah. 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 Okay. I think part of the problem is that there's some things you can't do with live code editing. I really think that's the case. Okay. Okay. So now I should be able to do an if player dot movement direction x is wait. We're gonna move this chunk up here. Oh no, it's already at the top. It's equal to 0. And This is not what we're going to want to do. Okay, what we're saying here is the player must be moving. Player must be moving for us to do any of this logic. The player is not moving, then we don't care. JavaScript, don't allocate variables until you need them. Fiddliness. Here my pen so Sky doesn't get it immediately. Preset them to 0. We could get -1s. I would do it as a, Boolean check, but it's greater than 1. We know it's not. One of them could be 0. So if it's greater than 1, then we're going to have an else. I think +10 will do it. If two different checks, they have to be greater or less than 0 for us to change this. Eventually, things like this would be constant. Oops. Y is 10, X is 20. Oh, wait. 10 and 6. Big, ugly chunk of code. Right, it's no longer painting the center. Did I mess with the wrong thing? Oh, not messing with coordinate though. Because we've got to move for us to need to do more, right? Nope, nope. Okay. Only if we're moving. We change the offset. Well, at least they got the at least they've supposedly moved towards addressing the black screen portion of the servers are at capacity problem. Is 4. Yeah, that's where we are. Still okay. Once we get to the center tile is updating again. I am trying to make a little top-down survivor style game, Lore. And right now, I'm trying to come up with a math that tells me that in this world, I'm about to pass, like, I want it to fill in the next square center before I get to it. So if I exit out and come back in, this is the center of this square, or this screen. By the time I see it, like by here, I want to be able to see that center square. But I'm not seeing it until I step on it. And that should not be. Well, this is the code that I'm using to set a block. So I'm telling it, make this block that color. And I'm setting up the center tile to be this mess. So I have the tile I'm standing on should be... Oh, but wait. I want it to be the next one. Or the prior one, if I am... Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think I know what's going on here. So, I don't want to know which square I'm currently in. I want to know which one I'm heading towards. Which... So I'm going to need another method so that I can say, like, okay, which one am I in? And then what are all of the adjacent ones? Orthogonally and diagonally, since we're dealing with squares. Okay, so this code is telling me which one I'm in. I don't need any of this mess. Actually, no. Yeah, I know which one I am currently in within some degree of error. So let's... I go back into this and I step over to here. What square does it say I'm in? It says I'm in 0, 0. That is wrong. I go over to here. It says I'm at... Okay, now the tile is 20. That is the correct center. Now if I go left... I'm going to speed ourselves up some more. Zoom. Hey, Okami, good to see you again. Yes, this is the original Catbot. From way back in the day when we were playing Noida. This is the original Catbot. Okay, I'm in the other square. I get to the center, and now I'm in the prior square. Okay, it's only updating once we hit the center. All right, let's... Shot in the dark. What if I offset our... Need any of that? Kitties are doing okay. Everybody's nice and healthy. Camera 1 has flaked out on us, though. Because I can tell you for sure, Ember's not there. Let's find the kitties. Looks like Sky, Sammy, and Mason are on camera. We got a double on camera at the bed, so... But doing good over here, Okami, doing good over here. Things moving in a positive direction over there. He said, being very vague. Definitely Sammy and Mason. Okay. Okay, so we're going to take our current coordinate and we're going to add 10. For the offset, add 6 to account for the tile offset that we're doing. Get rid of you. Get rid of you because we're not using you anymore. This is day 2. We started this one on Saturday? Question mark. We started coding, like Cass said, a couple weeks ago. We did some last week. We did our let's start coding in Godot a couple weeks ago. And then last week we did let's start coding this, I think. Yes. I'm not doing all of the coding on stream. There's X offset, so I can get rid of it. Unpause. Okay, gray square in it ahead. Nope, gray square down didn't work. Gray square left. Gray square left didn't work. Okay. Okay, down's not working, left isn't working. Go left of this just to be sure. Left works. Okay. We still want to know which direction we're heading. So let's try that. Okay. Let's put these back. Bar, not car. Reset them to 0. I'm not fast at typing, at least code. I don't pretend that I'm going to, type code super quickly, but I am further impeded typing code because my camera obstructs my hands a little bit. Okay. Here. And X. We got to put all this back because it's been a while since we removed it. In theory, we don't need to do this unless we're moving. The whole thing unless we move. But let's just get this working for now. X is less than 0. Thing, and we do it again for Y. Why? Because it hates us. Wasn't that a Mr. Rogers thing? Okay, we're heading left. Square. We're heading up. Square. Heading up again. Square. Left again. Square. 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 Heading down and right. Square. 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 Things are getting off. Things are getting off. There should be more squares. Yeah, we should be seeing squares over here. Okay, let's... Just as a quick theory. What's wrong, engine? End of 24. Oh. If. Okay, something was not right in general there. Ration a little bit here. Okay, we're in positive space. Let's head up into negative space. Ourselves faster still. For testing. Okay. Vertical negative space. Horizontal positive space yet. Into horizontal negative space. Okay, what we did is we're doing a full look ahead. We're looking at the next 20 squares. And as soon as we hit past the halfway point in this square, it's gonna be able to identify the next one. Because right now we're still rendering the last one. Negative space. Okay, passing through into positive space. Further into negative space on the left. Okay, I think we got it. All right, this is... What we had to do here is we've changed it into a look ahead. So this will find us the next square, or the next central square. I'm going to call this tiles. So this is where we are. And this one is going to be, okay, which way are you headed so that I can hit the next tile in advance? So now we know this one tells us where our current target is, center tile. So then if we take every tile around it, we could fill those tiles in. So temporarily, we want to expand our field of view if we can. Look at the camera. Do -1. Does that do anything? Not what I wanted to do. It inverted the whole camera. That's where the camera can move. That's not what we want. .5. There we go. Okay, I still want it to be as soon as I'm in the square, it identifies the next one. But this'll do. Oh, that's weird. Negative space works better. Okay, let's try an experiment. If this works, I will. Positive space is flaky. Still not. Now when we're getting our current tile. Oh, no. Spatial direction. This is spatial coordinates that we're messing with. This is where we offset it by half of a tile. But we're not dealing with spatial coordinates here. We are dealing with tile map coordinates. If we're at the halfway point, we render the next one. We want to look... We want to look ahead a full space. Okay, the diagonals are a little off, but we're going to correct that soon. Hey there, Aniji. Okay, so the X offsets, the offsets are what we want. The offsets are what we want. Okay, so we don't really care if we're moving. So this is actually... We're going to render all of the tiles around us. Oh, there is? Well, I should use that. Well, what do you know? There we go. There we go. Functional. Functional. Are you liking it then, Aniji? This Rain World DLC? Okay, we're going to need 8 of these because we are rendering around ourselves. We are going to have a method that we're going to call into to do this. Okay, so we have a... Oof, careful there, Sky. I have a plus and minus 30. Yeah, let's go clockwise. It'll bother me. For some reason, it'll bother me. Well, if we're doing 2 full ahead, we might as well do 2 full ahead. Or 40. It's 40. It's 40. Could use some sort of like iterative enum if I wanted to here. But, you know, let's not be too fancy. Okay, so it's going to render all around. There's some excess rendering going on while we're doing this. Oh, no. No, no, no. This is not where we want to do that. Oopsie doopsie. This is rendering our current space. Like, when we do this, like, this is our current coordinate. We don't want coordinate. Stop here so that it stops processing that. Okay, so when we are calculating center tile here, this is the part that we want to retarget. So we have multiple center tiles that we're calculating. So if we pass something into it, we do this. Or return. Yeah. We do function as vector UI. Oh. It returns a vector2i object. Okay, this is the set red. And then we're going to say Get center tile. Very messy, very messy. From that, essentially. Okay, this sets our current position red. This sets all adjacent ones. Let's do one more for the current one. Again, this is really gross overkill, but we hit the halfway point, and it will render everything up above. So as soon as we hit the center of one, we jump ahead. We're not quite getting it. We're getting up and down is a little off. Are we still doing anything directional? It shouldn't matter that we're heading down at all. Yeah, like this one's not filling in. Change this to a constant in a moment. Okay, this is about right. That's the dangerous one down there. The diagonal calculation is a bit tricky. Yeah. We're getting spotty results in some of the space. Why would it not hit that one at all? All right, there's some places where the calculation is skewed. Yeah, it's the up left can be a little off. Up left is when both are negative. And in particular, the up is too far. So what could be going wrong with this one? Look at get center tile. Essentially truncate it. Okay, let's run, and then we're gonna go just straight left here. We're going to go a little down. How about a little up? Further up. Okay, where are we? So this should result in a center tile of like -80. That we're in. We should be in that one. Let's brute force this here. To I. Currently in. so. So clean it up a little bit. Just purge them all out at once. Six, 7, 8. So int equal to 20. Using 20. We're using 20. 30, I think. Let's use 20. Okay, so center up minus y offset. X offset. Y offset. Lower right. Up center. Left. Left. Center, upper right, wait, yeah, top center, upper right, right center, lower right, bottom center, lower left, left. Okay, we need one more because we have 9. This should clean it up a little bit. Definitely not going to happen there. Well, because I wouldn't bribe somebody to sub, and because, you know, I don't exactly support Roblox. There are practices of... It's as much the economy that surrounds Roblox, the development economy, and... I'm sorry. Roblox's target demographic skews very largely minor. And the development environment and the popularity around it has created the impression amongst a lot of people that they can get involved with Roblox mods and like mini games and make lots of money. But it has led to very predatory development practices where people will effectively recruit minors to do the code for them and then, not reimburse them in any way comparable to what they're doing, even setting aside labor practices. And the company has a bit of a reputation of not doing anything to stop it. I am making a little game. I am attempting to figure out what else I need to do to get the map loading to work how I want it to. Hey there, Sevens. Welcome, welcome. I was just explaining to Quandale here. There are 3 different streams running. I have a Twitch stream. I have 2 different YouTube streams running this at the moment. So if I'm speaking to somebody you can't see in chat, that's why. Lunar, this is essentially going to be Vampire Survivors, but with the Nyanite creatures from back in the day. From the little catbots. You can't see it very clearly, but that's a catbot moving around. I'm using super zoomed out. Super duper zoomed out. Okay. So that upper right seems working. All right. So now we've got that centered tile. Now we're going to do a method for rendering the tile now that we can get it. Funk. Yes, Lunar. Yep, those cats are snoozing. They're pretty much all snoozing. So let's switch over to cat cam a moment so I can show you. The big fluffy gray and white one that's taking up most of a camera is Sky. The little buff and white one with tan and white splotches is Sherbet. The gray and orangish one all curled up is Ember. The buff, the other one that's tan but with more regular patterning into it is Mason. And then the little tuxedo, you can see a little bit of white on her, is Sammy. There be 5 cats. But yes, tile spawning logic, Lunar. It's going to be one, 1080p screen worth of tiles in every direction. So you should always have a full screen rendered in a circle around you, like an extra full screen. And even moving very, very fast, that should be plenty to render. Right now, I've got it moving way more than than I necessarily think the player would move, or like the maximum speed. That's pretty much it, Lunar. Is the general idea is eventually going to be catbots sent out, and with increasing opposition to them. With it starting out that there is no opposition to them. Okay, so I'm not sure what you're referring to there, Quandale. Tiles. That would be the thought, is initially it's just a game of tagging essentially houses. And then once enough has passed, like generally it would be just thematically to get you the first weapon. And as soon as, you know, like one level worth of just tagging buildings, then it would be a matter of there is opposition and you're tagging buildings while the weapon is defending it. It would be possible to have something like YouTube in place of the code box. Como, we are coding a little survivor style game. I definitely wouldn't put somebody else's channel on my channel there, Quandale. That kind of defeat the purpose, don't you think? So we're now proceeding to we're trying to fill in the world maps. The red tiles are just showing me my path. And I am zoomed way out to in order to see where I'm going. The gray tiles will be the center of a map tile, which I'm now going to try to fill in. Okay, so we have 'Once we get the point where it's going to be playable, Quandale, I will probably put it somewhere that it is accessible so that people can mess with it. Okay, so we have 13 top to bottom rows. And then each row would be 20 across. Yes. Those are cat cams there, Como. And I am definitely willing to stop and show off the camera array. Probably not the admin, Quandale. I have 5 cats, so I try to keep at least one of them on camera at all times. And hey there, Brianna. Welcome, welcome. We're doing some programming today. I don't do any VR at the moment, Quandale. I don't have any 3D rendering capabilities just yet. We're about 2 hours into what is normally a 3-hour stream, Brianna. You will not have missed plot or anything. So happy you could join us regardless. But happy you could join us regardless. Okay, so 13 by 21. This is actually a 2D model, Quandale. Live 2D is a framework that can make two-dimensional images look very three-dimensional. That's for testing only, Lunar, but that is something that will eventually be different. That could eventually be a wake of destruction or what amounts to like creep, you know? Reminder, I am streaming on 3 different streams right now. There is a Twitch stream and a YouTube stream that are in 16.9 or by 9 ratio, and a YouTube stream that is in 9 by 16 ratio, so that you can watch in whatever format you'd like. Okay, so we're going from upper left to lower right. Then left edge is should be -10. I think we're thinking in similar directions, though, Lunar. I think we're thinking in similar directions. The edge is -6, I think. Yes, yes. Okay. So, for what's the syntax for this? Iteration. It doesn't seem like what I'm looking for. Newt is the name that I generally go by. For the screen handle, Mechanist is a title. Newt is the name. Wait, did I do that? I think I said that right. Newt is the name, Mechanist is the title. Yes. Scenes, language, GD script. Mechanist is an archaic profession. It is essentially a person that works with machines. More modern, it would be a mechanic. We're programming a game. We're trying to. So here, let me reset the zoom here. We're going to try to make a game like Vampire Survivors. The color squares are just for debugging purposes. The little guy in the center is going to be the crux of it. So, Survivors style games, it's kind of like saying Souls-like, but it is a game where creatures swarm on from the edge of the screen, and the central character automatically attacks them, and you just hold out for as long as you can, usually getting upgrades and what have you. So again, like Vampire Survivors, like Hollow Cure, that kind of thing. Okay. Looks like Mason left camera. I don't see where he went. Let me guess. Shot in the dark, but this is one of the places he likes to go. Yep, there he is. He has moved to the second cat tree. That's audio looping. About iteration. Okay. Well, expression. Okay. So that's 0 through. Okay, so we do for I in. Okay. I've never done Godot script before prior to starting this whole endeavor. So I will be consulting references now and again. He's all loafed up. Okay, so 13. Do this. In range. J is range 13. That is in range 21. 21. Colon. So if J is equal to 12 or I equal to 0 or I is equal to 20. It's a terrible switch, but a full robot. I am the proto Nyanite, the first model of the Nyanite robots, which replaced the Catbot that was originally made by Catbot Corporation. As part of the start of the Nanotype line, I was given completely consensual control of the Catbot Corporation factory. and have been running it since then in a manner that is totally safe to humans. Totally safe. Everybody's fine. Normally 0. It is int. Zero. Cell. Nanotypes don't poop. It's a sanitation feature. Anything that a nanotype would consume, and they don't need to, would be filtered through their nanoblood, which would dissolve it completely. I can operate a factory and handle the manufacture and the distribution of new Nyanite-style catbots and non-prototype nanotypes. But otherwise, the nanotypes are just designed to be household helpers. And adorable and approachable by all ages and genders. What, Quandale? If it's not apparent, I like my own soundtrack. Okay, so then tile to paint. I mean, you can feel free to try, Quandale. Though Tass is correct. I am known to decide at a random time in the middle of the day that something needs to be done, and it needs to be done immediately, no matter how much effort it's going to take. And if there is a statement that you'd like to make or something that you'd like to ask, you can feel free, Quandale. As I said, if you would like to guess how old I am, you can take a shot. I feel quite confident you'll be wrong. And you are. Well, I feel like your guess is going to be an informed one, Okami. Would it be? Oh man, how much time has passed? So it's a bit of a trick question, folks. The proto-nanotype body is one age, and the mental engram that was obtained in an entirely consensual and non-destructive manner from the original lead researcher of the factory, who is now retired and completely cut off contact with the outside world, is a different age. I actually have some there's some introduction to the world and the story videos on the channel if you would like. Shameless and seamless plug. Okay. I was doing a thing. Okay. So coordinate x minus 10 plus I. Yes. Y 6 J. Targeting tile to paint, and we're going to use tile to use. What was there was a culture that believes so it's common that people refer to time as being behind you. There's a culture that believes that time is ahead of you, and it's ahead of you because you can see it. You can look into your past, but you can't look into your future. So your future must be behind you, where you can't see it. I don't know. What are you thinking, Quandale? I could put this in yet more or, like or and an end. Okay, this should make the center and the edge red and the rest of them gray. Because I definitely did this perfectly. Let's restart it. Oh, wait. I have to actually use this function. Like so. How did I learn coding like this? A great deal of practice. Aha! Yeah. All right, let's hop back in real quick here. We go into our UI. We go to our camera into E mode. Click our camera. Set our zoom to 0.1. And we don't press that. We press this. Look at it go. All right. We got world map generation going. So what I would do instead of iterating over it, filling the tiles like this, is I would then go in and check if the tile has already been filled. If the tile's been filled, don't mess with it. If the tile has not been filled, I would consult a stored entity of some kind. So either a predefined world map, because Newt is a neat name. That's it. I first encountered it in from Aliens. The little lost survivor girl. Okay. Good. So now we have center squares that can be translated out. That will be potentially the next thing that I consider, Lunar, is creating a queue, a rolling queue, not a queue. It'll be a rolling list, you know, where you add to the front and you crop off the end. I think it's a list. It's a reverse queue. Anyway, where whatever tiles that I have painted go on the front, and anything off the end falls away, but the trick will be not chopping the tiles that I've just added. So something like that, you know? Maybe I'll make a hash of them too. Making a hash of the whole thing. Okay. Okay. So the next thing is we can create another entity. Go into the game world and we're going to add another thingy. Character body 2D. Is move this camera over to it, but I don't necessarily want to make the camera an intrinsic part of player. So it will have a sprite 2D on it. I'm going to call this a mob. This the mob sprite. To save the branch as a scene. And new folder. Save it as mob, and then we go into mob folder. We open up the mob. Go into the mob sprite, and we're going to check our art assets. The blob. Is that there? Blob is an actual sprite, so we need to there's one vertical frame and 6 horizontal frames. So then if you look, it animates as long as I iterate the frame from 0 to 6. I'm 0 to 5, but you know. Let's see. I am a very picky eater. I like some kinds of noodles. I like a lot of fast food. I consider there to be a sufficient variation in quality of fast food that I'm picky. Let's see. Noodle-wise, I kind of like instant ramen and variations thereof. I like to put cheese on it. Some kinds of fried chicken. Pizza, but the sauce can't be sweet. Same with like spaghetti and like, I don't like sweet sauces. Okay, so then we're going to attach a script to you. Doesn't need gravity. Doesn't need any of this for now. They do. They do. There are sauces that have like essentially more sugar-like additives to them. I prefer like with marinara sauce to be spicy. I've encountered a couple of pizza places that have very spicy sauces, and I really like that. We're not talking like, hot ones, wing sauces, spicy. Just that sort of like, that sort of black to red pepper kind of vibe. Just a little bit. Yeah, like, Pizza Hut is prone to very sweet sauces. What do I do in the player script for the animation? Okay, that's in that. Okay. Hello, Sherbet. Oof. Sherbet requests attention, so he has climbed up on the back of my headrest, and he must now get intensive scratches. He'll stand in the back of the headrest and want me to pet him. And then if I pet him enough, he kind of flops over between the back of my head and the chair rest. I gotta kind of hunch down, He's a little sweetheart, but he's also the hardest to trim the claws off. So he has full-on murder mitts. Sammy is second most difficult. I can only trim her claws if she comes to sit on my lap. And then I can sometimes I can get both paws, but she is ready to run as soon as she gets the opportunity. And then she'll be upset with me for at least an hour after that. Okay, so we're going to use the same logic here. Save that so we don't forget. Seconds passed. Okay, so there will be a failure in their player sprite, so we also need ready. In ready, we're going to make a variable sprite as sprite 2D. In ready, sprite is equal to $sign sprite. Take mob sprite and we slot in player sprite. And it will be mod 6 in the same way, but we don't need current animation because it only has one. Then if we go back to the scene, and I think we can run this scene. You can see him animating up there. Yeah, it's just Nightbot is just a precaution, just to remind people some of the rules, It doesn't target anybody in particular. So if you see Nightbot, it's not talking to you when it lists the channel rules like that. Does the rewind power include a preservation of the entire preservation of my consciousness and memories as I know them? Then rewind. Rewind all the way. I mean, copy paste is quite a powerful thing, but the ability to essentially get away with anything that I want and be able to do anything that I want, especially if it's a subconscious operation, something that I can definitely do at any moment, regardless of what's going on, then you're effectively invincible. I mean, there's ultimately a limit on it. Eventually, you will run into circumstances where you want to go forward, and if you want to preserve access to what you have once you go forward, then that needs to be your current reset target, you know? I mean, being an eternal robot also gives you a lot of leeway there. So, doubly advantageous. If you never age and never die of natural causes, then the ability to rewind is absolutely the choice. Okay, so we have the mob there. Let's put a mob in the game scene where we have it there, and then we are going to find it. Where is it at? Oh, it does not have a shape. Let's get that collision shape in there. Let's put it the same way, yeah. And it is a circle, I think, yeah. Let's take the sprite, let's bump its frame forward a little bit. Here. Let's make that a capsule. Let's move the sprite up on its 0, 0. So let's get its frame all the way back down. Resting position like that. Let's put that. Up. Such hassle. Animate him all the way out. So this is about the bottom line, this pink line now. If we go all the way at the top of a bounce, it's a little taller than it is right now. So then we take the sprite and we run it back down. Widen the capsule out a little bit. It is a slime, yes. Now, if this were a fighting game, I would want this to be a much tighter fit. Almost think this needs to be a square, huh? Let's make it a square. There. When it animates, it'll just be cosmetic. Lock, so we can move it around freely. Go to the games. Go to sprite. We scale that up to 6x. We're going to have to redo that. Forgot about this. There we go. I think it's because they usually bounce, Lunar. That's about it. I mean, it's just a more it's just less viscous than accurate there, Brianna. That's about it. You know, a bouncing water versus a slime. I could probably make another animation for rolling. Might be a good, like an attack kind of thing, you know. Okay, so then if we look at the game scene, we have the mob there. We're going to put the mob over here just so we can see it. Oh. We're going to go into the camera, and we're going to set it back to 1. And he is sitting on a layer that the player collides with. I may put the player on a visual layer that is higher than pretty much everything else, so that the player is generally visible. Right now, the player is rendered on a layer behind where the slime is. But yeah. I can change that by doing this. Now the player is in front of the slime no matter what. We'll see. We'll see. Seeing that I'm kind of partial to this so that the monsters are always visible. It's kind of a 6 one way, half a dozen the other. You don't want a target that can hit you to be obscured, but you also want the player to know where they are. But that is handled by the fact that you're at the center of the screen. Anyhow, we have a critter now. We'll be able to make it face different directions like we want. We will also be able to make it move. The general idea is that it would chase the player. Its movement operation would effectively almost universally be draw a line to the player, move along that line at your speed. Once we've got that kind of creature done, the next kind are the sort like in Vampire Survivors, you have swarms of bats that appear and they like rocket across the screen without targeting the player. That's the other type that you would generally have. kind that have a special, like, unique movement patterns. So I may create some, like, encapsulated logic for that sort of thing. But we made some good progress today. We do have the mapping working, so if we... I should bind the enter key to that. I mean, if we look, no matter where we run, there will always be screen visible. Come up with, you know, long term might have to come up with clean logic for how this goes. I might have to do some debugging to find out how much memory the program consumes if, say, I keep doing this. That is true. Slime themed, you know, like plush is pretty good. I know there are Dragon Quest slime plushes. You know, I bet there are Dragon Quest slime themed beanbags. For a while, I had a slime themed PlayStation 2 controller from the Dragon Quest 8 promotions. It could be like a little display piece when you sat it down, or you could turn it upside down and hold it, and it was actually a relatively comfy controller. The slime shape fit nicely between the hands, you know? But we are making progress. We're making progress. So next time, what we're going to try to do is start getting some logic for the creatures spawning, pursuing, and also for it to be, if you leave range on them, that individual creature still exists but will re-enter the scene at another time. Like, we'll reuse it. Not entirely, but, you know, something like that. It's akin to, in a lot of the games, if you outrun a boss monster, it will respawn at the edge of the screen after a bit of time. So you can never really get rid of them, you know? But we'll get the logic for them appearing and pursuing the player first, and then we'll get logic for the player outruns them, what do we do? Then we start adding in things like health and you know, damage on collision, and then we can start to add in the projectiles from the player and how they impact, damage, and remove monsters. You know, placeholder projectiles, and then we'll just iterate. We'll go more and more. I do occasionally poke this kind of thing outside of the stream, so there might be progress in addition to what you see next time. We'll see. We'll see if I get to that. But in any event, I want to thank everybody for coming to join us today. If you haven't already, consider liking, following, subscribing, commenting. Whatever the platform will let you do, all the buttons are good. So that the algorithms know what you like and can show you more, if that's to you, and can show you more of what you like. Our next stream is going to be tomorrow. I'm probably going to do more programming on that stream. Later in the week, we're going to play some more Ace Attorney, and then still more programming. We'll see how the schedule unfolds. If I'm doing this much coding, then I don't mind doing more streams. But we'll see. We'll see, folks. Again, thanks everybody for coming. I believe I do have it set to redirect to Hoodlum Calum's Donathon. If it's still going, we'll see. Folks on YouTube will have that happen. So again, thanks everybody for joining us, and I hope you have a good night. Bye.